Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with the daily price action analysis. Today is Thursday, the 7th of June, 2018. Time is 18:01 here in the UK. You're looking at we're going to switch up to an AUD JPY daily chart. AUD's finally turning around, a bit late, but it's happening. In today's analysis, we're going to be reviewing yesterday's trade that I was in, which I closed out. We're going to be looking at we're just going to be looking at what we talked about yesterday, and we're going to be looking for more setups. Although, to be completely honest, I would advise not to trade any setups starting today, because tomorrow morning the G7 summit starts. And trading through G7 can be a tad risky because a lot of the times during their lunch breaks or whatever breaks they get at the G7 summit, these people go out and talk to reporters and they'll say stuff that causes the markets to go crazy. So you get a lot of crazy movements during the potential crazy movements during the G7 summits. So I do advise against trading during those times. In my opinion, it's a bit risky, but hey, in the end, it's up to you. So we are going to look for setups, and if there are any setups, I'll let you guys know. So first of all, AUD/JPY, nothing much happening here. It's pushed up, turning around. USD/JPY, same thing, pushed up, turned around. GBPAUD. Now, I was in a short trade here yesterday looking for a continuation. Clearly, that didn't pan out too well. I've not had the best of trading weeks. I've had two failed trades on AUD/JPY and USD. Well, technically, USD/JPY was not failed because I was out at break even, but I mean, it wasn't a positive trade either. So I'm just going to call it a failed trade or break even trade. And another pretty much break-even trade here on GBPAUD. Closed this one out when it came back down. The reason I closed this one out was mainly because of, as I said, the G7 summit coming up. I didn't really want to... I'm just starting this recording software because this recording software allows me to draw on my screen like that. So now that that's started. So yeah, this trade was closed out pretty much just... because the G7 summit was coming up. I didn't want to hold the position. I didn't want to be in a trade anymore. It had retraced quite a bit, but it came back down, so I was able to get out pretty much at my entry. So yeah, two break-even trades and one failed trade. But hey, that happens. That is the reality of trading. Even profitable traders, even full-time traders, you're not going to have profitable weeks every single week. Sometimes you're going to have bad weeks, and that's just the reality of trading. A lot of traders, new traders, they don't accept that. They have one bad week and they're like, what's wrong with my trading? What am I doing wrong? I had one bad week. What's going on? But that's not how it works. You have bad weeks. Sometimes you have a bad month. Although I haven't had a bad month in a while, but it's possible to have a whole bad month. That's why whenever someone asks me, hey, can I make a reliable X amount per month trading, because they want to make a reliable, like a monthly paycheck that they would get at a normal job, I say, no, that's not how trading works. Some months you're going to make a lot. Some months you're going to make a little. Some months you're going to lose, because trading isn't a reliable day in, day out, month in, month out, X amount. I'm going to make 5,000 per month, or you're not going to get a consistent income. It's going to vary. It could average out to a good amount, definitely. I'm not saying that you can't make money trading. I'm just saying the consistency isn't there. Sometimes you're going to have bad weeks, and you just have to accept those as a trader. Point being, I had a bad week. It's been a negative week for me overall, so that's just the reality of it. Anyway, GBPJPY. Now, this trade triggered yesterday. We're looking at a potential short here. Sorry, it didn't trigger yesterday. It triggered today. I haven't entered, though. Is anyone short here? So the chat is a little slow because there's not many people in the room. Normally, we do these webinars at 11, but there was a mess up this week with the timing. So the first webinar was at 6 p.m. That meant all the following webinars had to be at 6 p.m. because I like at least 24 hours between webinars. And we just don't have the people who, these are members only webinars. The members are used to having like 11 a.m. webinars, not 6 p.m. webinars. So this is just a really awkward time for everyone. So there's not many people in this room as there would normally be. Therefore, the chat is a little dry. Did anyone enter? The few of you who are in here? Well, it doesn't look like it. But anyway, if whoever's in this trade, I'm sure some of you are because we've been looking at it since yesterday. I didn't enter because of the G7 summit. I really don't want to trade tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, looks like an okay trade. So if you're in it, I guess stay in it. If you're okay with trading through the G7 summit. Okay, so but both of you entered it. Okay, I think there might just be a bit of a delay in this YouTube stream. I'm not sure how it's set on delay wise, but I think maybe there's like a 15-second delay, so it takes time for people to respond. You missed it, Ash? Fair enough. Where were we? I can't remember. All right, AUD USD. AUD USD pushed up to resistance, turned around from resistance. Euro AUD pushing up to resistance. It's not really showing signs of stalling. Let's see what it does at this resistance area. Yeah, what is the time lag like, Mick? Can you give me a rough idea? Just so it's useful for me to know. That way when I ask a question, like I have an idea of how long it's going to take someone to answer. Anyone short AUD USD? Out of curiosity? Not much in the way of setups. Maybe EURJPY's potential for a continuation here, but it also looks potentially like it's stalling out on this resistance area. So it's very unclear at the moment. We just have to wait and see how this one goes. Because the thing with resistance areas is, you know, this resistance can be up here. It's not necessarily down here. So calling this a continuation offhand is not the smartest move. This could be a reversal. It could be a continuation. Let's keep a close eye on it. See what happens with price at this level. This could give us a reversal here on EURJPY. But like I said, I'm not really interested in trading tomorrow, so I probably won't be trading it. But I do suggest you keep an eye on this because this does look like it has some potential. 90 seconds. That's really not good. I'm gonna. I think George made a mistake when he was setting this up, so I'll let him know to not do that again. Because you can set the delay time, and the delay should not be 90 seconds. Should not be anywhere close to that. It should be almost instant. Yeah, we'll get that fixed for the next webinar. GBP USD. Nothing much going on there, guys. New Zealand JPY, nothing much going. Ooh, all right, New Zealand USD stalling at this resistance area. It was stalling here yesterday. It's still stalling here. So, you know, I'm starting to think that maybe this move is not going to continue up. Maybe it's going to turn around. So the problem I have with it, I think this is the problem I had yesterday, is it's pretty messy to the left. Let's keep an eye on it, see how it plays out. EURJPY is the main one so far to keep an eye on. USD CAD is just in between support resistance, not much going on there. USD CHF keeps moving down, but there's no setup there right now. There might be soon if it drops down and comes back up, but right now there isn't. So yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps it up for the analysis, guys. There's not that much to add. I'm out of all trades. I've had a failed week. It sounds so depressing, a failed week. I think I need a better name for that than failed week. But I haven't had a positive week. I've had a negative week. But you know, I've been trading for like 15 years now. A negative week does not affect me in any way. I just do not care. It doesn't affect me going into the next week. It doesn't affect me right now. I am not even thinking it. The only reason I'm talking about it is because I'm doing a webinar and we're here, and you know, it's a point of discussion in this webinar. But you know, if I wasn't doing a webinar, if I wasn't talking to other traders, I wouldn't even be thinking about it. It's just, oh, how's AUD? Sorry, I didn't realize you were in it. I didn't read that comment, Mick. I mean, AUD USD, it looks pretty good, man. Yeah, it's bouncing away from resistance. It looks pretty solid. It's a good trade. You did pretty well. I didn't have the worst week though, actually. I did take some profitable trades, just not with this strategy. With the scalping strategy, I took a few profitable trades this week. Well, not 5 hours, what am I doing? 5 minutes? Actually, let me switch to the actual proper. I took a few profitable trades with the day trade, well, scalping / day trading, whatever you want to call it. This is GBPJPY. I took a GBPJPY short from this resistance area, which hit target. It only just hit target, but it hit target. So it's still, overall, my week was negative in terms of money, because I don't risk as much on these 5-minute chart trades as I do on normal trades. So even though I had a few winners on these trades, I didn't recoup what I lost on that GBP AUD. Wait, what was it? I've already forgotten what trade I had lost on. Oh, AUD JPY. I didn't recoup what I lost on AUD JPY. That's how little I care. I've already forgotten. Day trading. What was it? Euro USD yesterday? Yeah, Euro USD was yesterday. So I think these support resistance areas may have been a tad different. Yesterday at 11. I think it was here. Oh, I can't remember really. Sorry, I can't remember the exact setup. It was something like, no, it wasn't 9:45. It was definitely closer to 11. I think it was a long from here, something like that. Something like this, I think, with a free risk to reward ratio. Yeah, something like that. So the scalping side of things went pretty well, which allowed me to kind of like, I guess, not lose as much. But I wasn't scalping that much this week at all. If I'd been scalping daily this week, I probably would have had a pretty good week overall over the two strategies. But yeah, I wasn't really paying much attention to the scalping side of things this week. Yeah, that's on the calculator. What Mick is referring to about losses in a row is it's one of the tools that we use, losing streak calculator. So you basically, you stick in your percent strike rate, you stick in the amount of trades. So over 1,000 trades, if you have a 60% strike rate, that means you win 60% of your trades. You should expect, on average, at some point in that 1,000 trades, you should expect to lose 8 trades in a row, even with a win rate of 60%. And you should only be concerned if you lose over 13 trades in a row. So you can lose up to 13 trades in a row. That's kind of like it's statistically possible, although less likely than losing 8. But losing 8 in a row over 1,000 trades is statistically likely. According to mathematics, probability mathematics. So I would say not according to Viet, but according to the laws of mathematics. Although Viet is the one that created the calculator, so I see what you mean by according to Viet. But according to probability mathematics, with a 60% strike rate, you'd lose 8 trades in a row. So yeah, I think a lot of traders have this fear of losing trades as if it's something that shouldn't happen. But the reality is it's something that happens, and it's something that happens kind of often, even in streaks. Even with a 70% strike rate, 75%, let's put it up to 80. Let's say you're like an amazing trader, you have an 80% strike rate. You're still statistically likely to lose 4, and it's less likely, but it's possible to lose up to 7 in a row based on probability mathematics with an 80% strike rate, 7 trades in a row. So moral of the story, get used to losing trades, especially losing trades in a row, because it doesn't matter how good you are going to have losing streaks. That is trading. And when it happens, what do you say? You say, good. Good, I got that losing streak out of the way. Now let's get on to that winning streak. Because the cool thing about this, your losing streak calculator, if you want to be a more positive person, you can call it a winning streak calculator. And you can figure out what your winning streaks are. Or you would have to reverse the numbers, but you get what I mean. So like, it's not just on the losing streaks. There's also winning streaks. So when you have a losing streak, when you have 3 losses, 4 losses in a row, say, good, I got that out of the way. Now, next week, going to be a better week. Hopefully. But anyway. Technically, I didn't have 3 losers in a row, though. With that strategy, I did. But if you count all of my trading, I wasn't having those 3 losses in a row. So, but this, I guess, I don't know. No, this works on a per strategy basis, though. The losing streak calculator, it's on a per strategy basis, so. Yeah, psychology is the key at the end of the day. I kind of lucked out with my trading psychology. I got the genetic lottery with that one. By genetic lottery, I mean my brain is just set up in a way that I don't really care about losing. And I never have. I've always just felt losing was a good lesson. So like, this is not to say I don't like to win. Of course I like to win. But I don't get angry at losing, especially in trading. It doesn't really faze me or affect me, and it never really has. So I kind of lucked out on that side of things. I never had to learn to accept losses in trading, because for me, it was just part of the game always. Yeah, Mick, that's also a good point. The break-even trades I had were not losers, so. But, in my mind, I just refer to them as losing trades because I didn't hit my target. I didn't even come close to hitting my target. I didn't close out positive, so to me, they're losing trades. But yeah, technically, in my trading journal, they aren't losing trades, they are break-even trades, which are classed differently. But anyway, guys, I think that pretty much wraps it up. It's really hard to talk to you guys because there's a 30+ second delay on this webinar, which will be fixed next time. The webinar will be, I'm going to let the guy who sets these webinars up, George, I'm going to let him know to make sure to set them up so they don't have a delay. Yeah, the delay shouldn't be here. It just makes it hard to have a conversation because everything I say, you're hearing 30 seconds later. You're responding 30 or 40 seconds later because it takes a little while to type. You know, it's it's a bit difficult for me to chat to you guys today. I'll make sure that's fixed for the next webinar. We're going to be doing a webinar next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is going to be probably, most likely, at 11 a.m. And all the webinars next week are going to be 11 a.m. Don't like doing 6 p.m. webinars because it forces me to be home in the evening. Whereas the 11 a.m. webinars, it's just a little bit out of my morning, which is not too bad for me because I'm usually sitting about the house anyway. So I'll be doing 11 a.m. webinars next week, most likely. So I'll see you guys. Well, I'll probably see you guys on the forum, really. But to all the others, Chinka, that's I'll just answer that question real quickly. Yeah, the GBPJPY. Wait, let me switch back to real time frames. GBPJPY. When I say real time frames, it's like 5 minute for me is scalping, but I don't really. It just doesn't feel as significant or as real as you know, the daily time frame. It just feels like, I don't want to call it playing about, but it just doesn't feel as real or solid or reliable as the daily time frame. Anyway, so back to the daily. You're short on GBPJPY. So your question is, would I get out before the G7 or during? I would personally get out today, this evening. Would be when I would be closing that out. I wouldn't want to hold through the G7 meetings. You know, I've gone through a lot of G7 or G8 summits and G20 in my trading career, and Jackson Hole Symposium, which is, I guess, a similar event that can have an impact on the market. That's, I think, August this year, August 24th, 25th, something like that. That's a US only, but it has an impact on the market. I've been through a lot of these events. I know the impact that they can have. I know that most times you can trade through them without that much problem, but then sometimes some dumb politician will say the wrong thing, or some smart politician will say something intentionally to cause a move on the market. But you know, when being interviewed by reporters, these people do have the potential to cause massive swings, and swings equal massive swings equal a lot of potential slippage. It's not like normal news in my mind, and unlike normal news, you can't really predict a direction because it's just some dude saying something, or some lady saying something. So I don't like trading through things like this. The G7 summit, I'd close out my position. That's me personally. Doesn't have to be you. You decide how you handle your account, how you handle your risk. But me personally, I just don't see it as worth it. You know, sure, if I was short on this trade and I held it, I could make a pretty good return if it went all the way down to my target. But I'm not desperate enough to get that winning trade that I'm going to risk having it go boom, like in 5 seconds because someone said something dumb, especially because it's a GBP pair and, you know, Brexit is probably going to be mentioned at least. You know, I don't want to risk that happening, bam, and then me getting slipped 3 or 4 times the size of my stop loss, because it's just not worth it to me personally. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, exit I would exit before G7. So, when I say before G7, I mean like the evening before, because I'm probably just not going to trade all of tomorrow. Tomorrow is just like, oh hey, I get a free day weekend this week. So, um, that's why I would close out tonight, because I'd just wrap up my trading tonight, and tomorrow will just be a free day for me. But you could definitely hold on until closer to the start of the G7 summit. But keep in mind, we are dealing with people talking to reporters here, so the talk could happen prior to the G. A reporter could say, "What are you going to talk about today at the summit?" And the person being interviewed could say, "Well, I think Brexit is going to cause massive issues." Whatever. I'm just making stuff up. The point is, it's not like the second that G7 summit starts, then it's on. We're dealing with people here who are being interviewed. So they could be interviewed before, they could be interviewed during, they could be interviewed at any time. So don't think too much about, oh, it starts at this time and that is the time trading stops. Just think about, also the lead up. There can be things said, can be things happening. It goes for all pairs. G7 summit, I mean, it's all pairs. Brexit will probably, I'm sure, someone's going to say something about Brexit. So I would be worried about GBP, Euro, but also just in general, USD is always going to be affected. So USD has a knock-on effect on all pairs. I just would probably say everything is riskier in general. So anyway, guys, I guess that wraps things up. I'll see you guys on Tuesday, but I'll see most of you on the forum beforehand, I assume. Probably do a forum analysis tomorrow for those who really want to trade through the G7 and who are more open to taking that risk, which is totally fine if that's part of your trading plan. If your risk management says, hey, I don't care about this. If you've planned stuff like this in and you're okay with trading through those events, then feel free to trade through. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to take the same approach as I do. So I'll probably be doing a brief forum analysis, just a wrap up of what's happening right now and what potential trades there are at some time tomorrow, probably around midday. But other than that, the next live analysis will be next week on Tuesday, 11 a.m. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you later.